decade ago, gaming was different. It was a different time. There weren't any of those AI upscalings or frame generations or those ray tracing McJiggies. It was beautiful. Despite our technology having been advancing since the last decade, games have gotten worse in terms of technical quality and in just everything quality. Most games now are a mess. Some are just barely running on the minimum 60 FPS on a mid-range PC. Some just look outright terrible without ever having any optimization or patches. Some don't even run at all at launch.
That's cute. I just crashed, didn't I? What is going on, man? What is going on? Why? Just why? Why is it so difficult? Steam version is broken right now. A lot of people are crashing with new drivers. Why? Just why? Simple question. It is 2025. Why can we not get PC games to work on launch half the time? They even rolled out special drivers just for this game, only for them to not work. This time I know it. This time I know for sure we're going the distance. I just feel it. Oh, hey now. I just crashed again. I knew it.
Back then, it was a much simpler time. Developers didn't have the infamous Unreal Engine 5 to ruin everything that they're going to touch. Games actually looked and played good. Games were marvelous, and it felt like back then, the developers actually cared about their games. They cared about gamers. Look at The Witcher 3, look at Metal Gear Solid 5, even FIFA 15 was really good at the time. There were countless and countless of actual fun and really great games, but there is one in particular that I want to talk about for this video. I've never played this game until just recently, which means that I missed out on a lot, but this game is still one of the best looking games I've played in a long time. That is Batman Arkham Knight.
This is how it happened. This is how the Batman died.
Batman Arkham Knight is an exemplary example of what a modern AAA game should be. Breathtaking visuals, fun, and runs well. The Batman Arkham series was Rocksteady's moneymaker. It was their most precious baby. The first installment in the series, Batman Arkham Asylum, was released in 2009. Back then, superhero video games were often rushed tie-ins with weak mechanics, uninspired combat, repetitive missions, and stories that barely scratched the surface of the characters. They rarely offered a real sense of being the hero and were often seen as mediocre cash-ins, with many games feeling like afterthoughts in a crowded market, lacking innovation and failing to engage players in meaningful ways. Although, from my deepest memories, Spider-Man 2 was really the best superhero video game I've ever played pre-Arkham Asylum. Then came Batman Arkham Asylum, and it completely changed the landscape, raising the bar for what a superhero game could achieve. It became the gold standard, not only for superhero games, but for action games in general, by delivering tight, responsive, free-flow combat, stealth mechanics that were both intuitive and contextually appropriate for a superhero, and an immersive story that truly made players feel like Batman. It makes you feel like Batman. The game also pushed the boundaries of technical and artistic achievement, setting standards for voice acting, motion capture, environmental storytelling, world design, and attention to narrative detail. Its innovative approach influenced countless modern action and superhero games, as developers began to focus on creating engaging, story-driven gameplay that stayed true to the source material while offering polished, high-quality interactive experiences. We can take a look at Marvel's Spider-Man, a great superhero game that we can safely say that it stands side to side with the Arkham series. Today, Arkham Asylum is often cited as the template for how licensed games can transcend their origins to become critically acclaimed, beloved experiences that redefine the genre. Following its success, Rocksteady released Batman Arkham City in 2011, which represented a huge step up from Asylum. Not only did it expand the combat and stealth mechanics, but it also introduced a fully realized open-world Gotham. Well, Arkham City, where every district felt alive and packed with activity. The city was more than just a backdrop. It felt like a living, breathing environment with a sense of danger lurking in every alley and rooftop. Side missions were more diverse, Easter eggs were richer, and exploration felt rewarding and free, allowing players to experiment with gadgets and traversal in ways never seen before. The scale and polish of the game, combined with a compelling narrative, well-written characters, and meticulous attention to detail, made it feel like the ultimate Batman experience. Many fans regard it as the best game in the series because it perfected the formula of Asylum while giving players lots of freedom, immersion, and a true sense of inhabiting Batman's world. Then came Batman Arkham Origins, a prequel developed by Warner Bros. Games Montreal. Unlike Rocksteady's games, it struggled to capture the same polish and cohesion. While it did expand the lore of the Arkham universe, introduced interesting villains, and added unique gameplay mechanics, a lot of people felt like it lacked the creative spark, environmental detail, and overall cohesiveness that defined the Asylum and City games, which is why it remains a less celebrated entry in the series. Nonetheless, it offered a different perspective on Batman's early career and helped expand the universe narrative depth. Finally, Rocksteady returned with Batman Arkham Knight in 2015, delivering the ultimate conclusion to the trilogy. In just 4 years after Arkham City, it made huge strides in graphical fidelity, featuring highly detailed character models, realistic lighting, volumetric fog, and dynamic weather effects that brought Gotham to life like never before. Though it lacked any realistic sense of time, since technically Batman did all of Arkham Knight in just a single night. The game also demonstrated exceptionally high production values, from cinematic voice acting and motion capture performances to meticulously crafted environments and interactive set pieces. With a gripping story, an expanded rogues gallery, and a refined combat system that built on the best aspects of its predecessors, it felt like the culmination of years of careful design and passion. What made the Arkham series groundbreaking was how it combined a beloved IP with innovative gameplay, top-tier graphics, high production values, and a deep understanding of what players truly wanted. The feeling of being Batman, fully immersed in a living, breathing world. It wasn't just popular because of the brand, it was popular because it earned that respect. Each game improved on the last, elevating expectations for superhero games and action titles alike. Together, they created a standard that even today many AAA games still strive to reach, proving that when talent, vision, and attention to detail come together, licensed games can transcend their origins and become timeless classics. Now we are going to talk more on Batman Arkham Knight and why it's basically living 20 years in the future. I think we all know that most games, not only just AAA games, in this day and age, they run and look like absolute shit. I mean, if we look at some of the AAA releases since the last 5 years maybe, it's actually been pretty horrible. Technicality wise, we saw what happened with Cyberpunk's release, just a massive bug fest, and most consoles and PCs weren't able to run the game properly. Things like massive stuttering, not being able to hit high FPS counts with a high-end rig, textures popping in and out, those were basically the massive optimization problems with Cyberpunk, on top of the various bugs and glitches as well. Battlefield 2042 was so plagued with bugs and poor design that it nearly lost all of its trust with the Battlefield players, if it weren't for the overwhelmingly positive reaction for the Battlefield 6 open beta. Callisto Protocol underwhelmed with performance issues and uninspired gameplay. Even high-profile launches like Halo Infinite and Forspoken stumbled with optimization woes and visuals that looked dated right out the gate. But 2025 somehow managed to push the boundaries of disastrous releases even further. Monster Hunter Wilds, one of the most anticipated games of the year, shipped with severe optimization issues. High-end PCs struggle to even maintain 60 FPS. Even now, the game is still a mess, with Capcom really not solving the optimization and graphics problems. Wu-Chang Fallen Feathers released in such a broken state that it was accused of faking its resolution scaling to squeeze out performance, resulting in a game that looked blurry and unstable even when players selected native resolution. Though now it's fixed, presumably, and runs better on mid-end PCs, so the developers actually do kind of care. Mind's Eye, hyped as a cinematic revolution and the so-called GTA killer, turned out to be a glitch-filled nightmare. Critics called it actively hostile to players, with visuals breaking down into jagged geometry and missions collapsing under scripting errors. Even smaller releases like Upin and Ipin Universe launched with laughably bad visuals and performance bugs, dragging the repetition of 2025's release slate further into the mud. And yet, when we compare these titles to Batman Arkham Knight, released all the way back in 2015, a decade ago, the contrast becomes almost surreal. Despite being nearly a decade old, Arkham Knight still outshines them in every single way. Arkham Knight's Gotham is a city alive with very impressive detail and nuance. Neon signs glow against the wet rooftops, puddles ripple and reflect the city around you, and fog drifts through alleys, moving naturally with the light and your movements. Every part of the city tells a story. Papers blow in the wind and sirens echo in the distance. Rain runs down Batman's cape and shines with city lights, while fires and emergency lights glow in the background. Shadows stretch across wet streets, giving the world a dark cinematic feel. Even NPCs react naturally to what's happening around them and to your actions. All the enemies and goons in Arkham Knight, you can hear their goofy dialogues, which makes the game special and the city much more alive. In comparison, Cyberpunk's launch was plagued with texture pop-ins, frozen NPCs, broken environmental physics, and stuttering lighting effects that severely disrupted immersion. Rocksteady's combination of precise lighting, consistent physics, rich interactive elements, and layered environmental storytelling ensures Gotham remains immersive, atmospheric, and visually coherent even years after release, providing a depth and realism that many modern AAA titles fail to achieve. Arkham Knight's Gotham is not just a setting, it is a living, breathing world. The city is designed with meticulous attention to verticality, lighting, and interactive elements. Rooftops, alleyways, and streets are layered with detail, from flickering neon signs and animated billboards to litter, flowing water, and every thug NPCs having entertaining personalities. Compared to Gotham Knights, whose open world is sprawling but often feels disconnected and sparse, or Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, where Metropolis is visually impressive but lacks cohesion and believable urban flow. Arkham Knight demonstrates how environmental design can enhance immersion and narrative simultaneously. The game's physics engine elevates its world. Glass shatters convincingly, smoke curls realistically, debris reacts to impacts and weather, and rain interacts differently with various surfaces such as metal, stone, and cloth. The Batmobile reacts to collisions in ways that feel tangible, and combat animations are fluid and precise. In contrast, modern releases like Wu-Chang Fallen Feathers relied on fake resolutions where it implemented hidden upscaling, resulting in blurred visuals, and Mind's Eye frequently suffered from everything that exists. That game is not even a game anymore, it's just an actual social experiment. Arkham Knight's physics and visual fidelity are not only technically impressive but also serve the gameplay, creating a deeply engaging and believable world. Arkham Knight refined the Arkham series' revolutionary free-flow combat system, blending melee, stealth, and gadget use seamlessly. Combat is responsive and fluid, allowing players to chain counters, environmental takedowns, and aerial maneuvers in a rhythm that feels natural and satisfying. The Batmobile adds a secondary layer, integrating vehicular combat and puzzle solving, which, I'll be honest, a lot of it I don't really like. Ask one single man who likes being hunted down by Cobra tanks or the Cloudburst tank fight. Compared to Gotham Knights, which implements RPG-style combat and loot progression, Arkham Knight's system prioritizes skill, timing, and environmental interaction rather than arbitrary stats. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League moves to a third-person shooter with co-op mechanics, emphasizing ranged combat and character abilities. It also became a live service game, which is one of the worst things you can do with a game like this. While it offers chaotic, action-packed moments, it lacks the tactile satisfaction and cinematic flow of Arkham Knight's melee-focused engagements. The contrast highlights Rocksteady's previous mastery in designing combat that is both deep and universally engaging with the slop that they created with Suicide Squad. While the initial PC launch of Arkham Knight faced issues, console versions delivered smooth and stable performances from day one. Patches soon made the PC version reliable without requiring workarounds like forced frame generation or graphical compromises despite not having the same technology as today. Conversely, Monster Hunter Wilds struggled on high-end systems, dropping frames and stuttering severely. Mind's Eye, of course, frequently crashed even on powerful rigs, demonstrating that modern hardware does not compensate for poor optimization or just poor everything. Seriously, what were they thinking when releasing that game? Arkham Knight's ability to deliver a polished, consistent experience on 2015 hardware underscores the importance of thoughtful optimization over relying solely on raw technological power. Arkham Knight's design has aged gracefully. Nearly a decade after its release, people still marvel at the quality of its visuals, the richness of its environments, and the depth of its storytelling and gameplay. Unlike a lot of the AAA games which quickly faded due to launch issues and shallow design, Arkham Knight remains compelling and playable. The game's attention to detail, optimized performance, and cohesive world design ensure that it continues to feel alive, vibrant, and engaging today. When compared directly to modern AAA games, Arkham Knight's excellence is striking. Batman Arkham Knight solidified the Arkham series' influence on the superhero genre and beyond. Its combination of cinematic storytelling, immersive world building, and redefined gameplay set a standard that other developers now measure against. The game demonstrated that licensed IP could deliver deeply engaging, critically acclaimed experiences without sacrificing technical excellence. Developers of later titles such as the recent Spider-Man PS4, PS5 games have drawn inspiration from Arkham Knight's traversal and combat systems, while even failures like Gotham Knights and Suicide Squad Killed the Justice League underscore how difficult it is to replicate Rocksteady's previous careful balance of gameplay, narrative, and world cohesion. Arkham Knight's legacy also extends to technical benchmarks. Its lighting, physics, and environmental interactivity remain points of reference for optimizing open-world games without compromising player experience. The title remains a reminder that AAA games can be both artistic and mechanically impressive, proving that ambition, attention to detail, and polish are keys to creating timeless classics. The conversation around next-gen gaming often revolves around flashy buzzwords. Ray tracing, AI upscaling, 4K resolutions, frame generation, and hyperbolic claims of revolutionary immersion. These terms are meant to inspire excitement, suggesting that the industry is pushing into uncharted territory, where games will look and feel unlike anything that came before. But when you strip away the marketing gloss and look closely at what's being actually delivered, the reality becomes far less compelling. Many of these so-called next-gen releases are plagued with the same recurring problems: poor optimization, shallow world building, uninspired quest design, lifeless open environments, and visuals that feel incomplete or outright broken at launch. Instead of ushering in a new golden era of gaming, they stumble over the very foundations that older titles had already mastered nearly a decade ago. This is where Batman Arkham Knight becomes such a striking and even humbling contrast. Released in 2015, it was built on hardware that is, by today's standards, considered outdated. Yet, despite these limitations, it remains one of the most technically accomplished and artistically cohesive experiences ever crafted in the AAA space. Gotham in Arkham Knight is more than just a setting, it is a living organism. This was not just environmental dressing, it was environmental storytelling, where every corner felt intentional, reinforcing the tone and narrative. Even in 2025, few open-world cities have matched this level of cohesion. Compare that to recent releases hailed as next-gen benchmarks. Too often we see vast, sprawling maps that look impressive on paper but collapse under scrutiny. Empty streets, repetitive assets, NPCs that behave like mannequins, and combat systems that feel clunky and disconnected from the world around them. Gotham Knights and Suicide Squad Killed the Justice League are especially damning examples because they exist within the same superhero genre and, in a sense which I don't want to admit, in this same universe, yet it failed to replicate the fluid combat and seamless integration of gameplay that Rocksteady perfected years ago. Arkham Knight's free-flow combat still feels responsive, satisfying, and endlessly replayable, playable, while modern counterparts struggle with input delays, unbalanced mechanics, and shadow design loops. The irony is hard to ignore. The so-called next generation has not surpassed Arkham Knight but fallen short of it. What makes Arkham Knight timeless is not its reliance on hardware tricks or post-processing effects. It's the vision and craftsmanship behind every design choice. Rocksteady knew how to harmonize technology and artistry, leveraging every pixel and every sound effect to serve immersion and narrative, not just spectacle. It's proof that optimization, thoughtful design, and attention to player experience matter more than any checklist of technical features. Where modern studios often chase innovation for the sake of marketing, Arkham Knight demonstrates that refinement and mastery can achieve a far greater impact. And that is the real lesson. Arkham Knight shows us that the concept of next gen is ultimately hollow if it doesn't bring with it a deeper understanding of what makes games meaningful and immersive. If a 2015 release can still outperform blockbusters on vastly superior hardware, the problem isn't technology, it's vision, direction, and respect for the player. Rocksteady used to prove that you don't need constant reinvention of the wheel to make something revolutionary. You need to perfect the fundamentals and execute them with care. The leap from each Arkham games gets much better and better. If Arkham Knight can outshine today's most ambitious releases, then the truth is clear. The future of gaming will never be defined by hardware alone. it will always be defined by vision, artistry, and the courage to build worlds that truly live and breathe. And that is all. I'll see ya.